In this episode, we're tearing down a hybrid scooter engine. This is the Liebian 150. A quick introduction. It's a brand under Guangdong Haojin. They used to focus strictly on exports, but now they've started selling domestically too. This machine right here is one of their products. Right out of the gate, they're bringing out a hybrid. I introduced it to you guys in a previous video. Driven by my curiosity about hybrid scooters, I went ahead and got my hands on this thing to see how it differs from a pure gas-powered one. First, let's take a look at its drivetrain. This drive fan pulley seems to be made by Guangdong Haojin. I think, is it just me, or are all domestic drivetrains made by Haojin or Chongqing? This whole assembly is from Haojin. Even the Qingqi scooter uses a Haojin drivetrain system. Now look at this belt. It's a Gates belt from the US. Belts from this brand are actually quite durable. This drivetrain setup is pretty solid. And this is a liquid-cooled, 4-valve engine. Let's crack open the cylinder head cover and check out the internal structure. It's a single overhead cam, SOHC, 4-valve design. The cylinder head is a single-piece casting. At first glance, I thought it was like the CBF 150, where the rocker arm assembly can be removed separately. Even the finish made it look that way, but nope. I've actually ridden this hybrid scooter before. You can definitely feel the power boost delivered by the electric motor assist. What do you guys think? Will hybrid scooters like this become a trend in the future? After all, a lot of manufacturers are already starting to experiment with it. Now that the head is off, let me give you a closer look. It uses roller rocker arms. Roller rocker arms have a low coefficient of friction, a long lifespan, and they run pretty quiet. Take a look at the camshaft. This is a Sandai camshaft. Sandai used to be a camshaft supplier for Honda's joint ventures. Let's remove the head gasket and look at the cylinder block. Since it doesn't have a factory logo, judging by the casting and machining style, it's likely made by Guangdong Haojin. This one has a cast iron cylinder sleeve. Let's check out the piston. The piston used here is from Jingting, and the piston rings are Dongya PVD coated rings. Let's flip it over and keep tearing it down. Tearing it down to this point. Does this remind you guys of a certain Honda engine? Yep, you guessed it, it's reverse engineered. The factory assembly on this Liebian engine actually feels quite neat and well put together. For the final bike, it all comes down to how well they tuned it. Let's remove the magneto rotor. Look at this stator coil, it's absolutely massive. Holding it in your hand, it feels significantly larger than a standard bike's coil. This black piece here is the Hall effect sensor. Take a close look, everyone. Having dismantled it to this point, you've probably noticed this engine doesn't have a starter motor. So, how does it start? And how does it achieve hybrid power? Let's bring out the two key players. The rotor with magnets and the stator with coils. They are installed right here. When energized, they form a brushless motor that drives and cranks the engine to start. This is what we commonly call a pulse start. Essentially, these two parts replace the traditional starter motor. If you crack open a starter motor, isn't it the same inside? Magnets and coils. So, how does the hybrid drive work? Simply put, you keep sending electricity to them. It doesn't just stop once the engine has started up. It needs to keep assisting and spinning the crankshaft. So, they feed them 48 volts of power to make them work overtime. Functioning as a brushless motor, it continuously delivers power output to the crankshaft, and that's how hybrid assist is achieved. Then through power regeneration, it can seamlessly recharge that 48V battery. The concept is simple. Putting it this way should make sense to everyone. Let's split the crankcase. The inside of a scooter crankcase is quite straightforward. Once opened, there's only a single crankshaft, plus two main crankshaft bearings. That's why many people say scooter engines are easy to fix. Now we can take out the timing chain. Let's have a look. It uses a Japanese-did timing chain. Let's pull out the crankshaft and see what brand it is. It's a Guangdong crankshaft from Jiangsu. I don't need to say much about Guangdong crankshafts, right? Anyone who regularly watches my teardown videos knows them well. As for the crankshaft bearings, they are from CNU. They even went with P5 high precision grade for the crankcase. With that out of the way, all that's left is the gearbox. This section requires separate gear oil. Let's look at its bearings. They are all CNU bearings inside here as well. In my last video, I mentioned CNU has a massive market reach. Even Honda's joint ventures are using them. Turns out, a lot of engine brands nowadays rely on CNU bearings. Alright, teardown complete. Overall, the materials used in this engine are quite good. Next, it's up to see how Liebian tunes this bike. Thanks for watching, everyone. That's all for this video.